All right. Welcome to this episode of Truth Be Told with Dr. Bombay and special guests. All right, so far for the night's episode on the panel, we got Mr. Speak Easy and we got Mr. Derek C. Williams, both hailing out of Philadelphia, aka Philadelphia. So, on tonight's panel, we wanted to talk about some of the issues around the sector and within the community as far as manhood and other issues and topics dealing with guidance and basically just kicking around some ideas on a variety of subjects. So, not without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the fellas on the panel and let them just do a quick intro, and then we just get right to it. Does everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you good on my end.
Derek, I heard you a little bit say yes, but I don't know if you coming through.
Okay, we'll tell you what, let me drop that down.
I got you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Speak. Can you hear him okay?
Yeah, I hear him, but he said he's not as clear as you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm over here.
Well, it may be me. Let me just drop that down. I'll come right back up.
All right, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We got time. Happy hours was over, just wrapping up. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and bring D back up in a minute and go ahead and get started with things. We missing the panelists so far. So let's see here. I'm gonna have to pull up this private chat. Like I say, this is the first run out. I mean, it's going, it's smooth. It's a pretty easy platform here. I'm just waiting for Derek to tap back in. All right, so we get that a second. But anyhow, like I said, we want to talk about a variety of topics. Basically how this came about. Most of you that are familiar with me, TMK Media, aka Dr. Bombay, I usually show up on your platforms and I do my 20 or 30-minute sermons in the middle of your chats. So after some suggestions and guidance, I decided to take the sermon on over to my own channel so I don't clog up y'all lives with all of that. And also, me and some of the brothers on the platform, that are here tonight, that will be here, and some who are, you often find us in the middle of sometimes your chats and your conversations. Sometimes we're dealing with the youth throughout the sector. And so we decided to take the conversation. All right, Derek, forgive me, man. I'm having a little bit of trouble here dragging you back in. Okay, add the stream. Sorry, man. Let me go ahead and do this over here. There we go. I had to click I guess my button's sticking on me a little bit. Oh, I know what it is. My connection to my main. I'm working with two computers, so I'm on a remote machine, and my main machine is to the left. So I didn't want to keep looking off to the side. So I lost the connection from that. So forgive me. So from time to time, you're gonna see me dip off to the left here to handle the controls. So like I said, I did have everything set up, and so I could be a bit professional with it. But hey, it is what it is. We working through. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna let the fellas go ahead and introduce themselves, and meanwhile, I'm gonna try to get my connection back. Hey, Derek, can you go ahead?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah, it's a look. We can understand you. It's not. I don't think it's about you dropping down. I just think it's something to do with the mic, the way it's transmitted. But it's fine. I mean, we can definitely hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Derek C. Williams. I've been on YouTube for about coming up on 3 years. In July, and you name the topic, most likely I have covered it. Unfortunately, I had to rebuild my channel because about a month ago, YouTube took the channel that I had with 3,200 subscribers. They took that away for the simple fact that they said I was disseminating medical misinformation. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is coming out to be exactly what I said it was, with proof. But social media being what it is. But basically, I just come on and just try to spread positivity. Support good content creators like Dr. Bombay and grow my channel. That's it.
Wow, that was deep. So they I imagine YouTube is on some new terms and conditions. They striking down a lot of channels, and you said some things that you talked about came to fruition, and but yet due to their I guess wisdom, they decided to cancel you. So what's the new channel that's up?
I just went back to Derek C. Williams. I just created another Gmail account and just started from scratch. And what I think any content creator worth their salt, they should have a backup channel. I would suggest you look into LBRY, because what happens is anytime you upload to YouTube, the videos that you make will go directly to library, so YouTube can't touch those. So only thing I've been doing is just simply re-uploading the videos that I had. They didn't stop nothing. It's just the fact that I can't go live on YouTube, but I can use StreamYard if I so choose. And I haven't done so as of yet. So they ain't stopped nothing, you know. But it's just a cautionary tale is that we don't have free speech in our country. And I thought that if you had information and fact to back it up, that should stand on its own weight. But that's not our country.
So, I mean, you know, speaking on that, I know this is a bit off topic, but do you think that, you know, YouTube is basically a major corporation? Does the should I say freedom of speech or First Amendment apply here, you think? Or, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's two-pronged, because yes, we're supposed to be in a country that has its dictates off of our Bill of Rights, and those rights are granted to you by God, not man. However, YouTube is an American-based private company. Susan Wojcicki, who is an idiot, is the CEO of that company, and so they make the terms and conditions. And so if you're not dancing by their beat, because it is their platform, I refer to it as their too. They can do whatever they want. And so, not just myself, other people who are much bigger than I, as an example, I was following a doctor down in North Carolina by the name of Rashid Buttar. This time last year, I had more subscribers than Rashid Buttar. But by July, he had them at 500,000 subscribers, all because he was talking about the pandemic that's out. They took his channel. About 3 months later, Derek C. Williams.
Wow, that's crazy. We got to tiptoe like a woodpecker with a headache through these YouTube streets out here. And well, on the panel too, we have Mr. Speakeasy, another one of your homeboys from the town. Speak, you coming through? You copy?
Copy that.
All right, so Speaker gonna go ahead. He opted for the short intro, so we go.
Man, I didn't know it was my intro, Doc. You just asked me, could I thought that was a mic check 1, 2, man.
It's a mic check. Oh, we're gonna call this a mic check and keep this rolling. So let me see here. Let's get us all back up. All right, rolling. So there we go. I don't like that look. How we do multiple. There we go. That's better. All right, let's go ahead and all right. Like I said, my remote machine, I'm telling you, thing worked perfectly for 3 days, you know, so I could look ahead. But like I said, it is what it is. You know, I could be in my car yelling in rush hour traffic. But like I said, basically the whole premise of the discussion is, you know, how we are as men in our community and how we relate to, well, you know what? Check this out. Let me start with a clip, because a lot of this centers around manhood. So let me start with a clip from one of our brothers. I'm pretty sure you heard of this man, Mr. Judge Joe Brown. A very short clip. And then I just want to review his commentary. All right, so let's go ahead and just roll that.
This is Judge Joe Brown. We all live in America. We've got problems. We've got hassles with each other based on race, ethnicity, gender perception, religion, all sorts of things. There's white supremacy, some say. There's the Black Lives Matter thing. There are people who are extremists and there are people who are pacifists. But one thing that is very important is manhood. Manhood is the cement that holds society together. We need womanhood, but manhood protects womanhood. It's very hard to be a man. You have to be trained from infancy because it is a difficult, dangerous thing. Women and children in the lifeboat first. Men have died, suffered, been mutilated, gone through all sorts of hardship to support the women and children in their lives and those around them. That some men are bad is no excuse to destroy masculinity under the false label of toxic masculinity. Masculinity is the cement that establishes principle, duty, honor, obligation, responsibility, accountability, forthrightness, bravery, and courage, protecting womanhood and promoting manhood. That should be an aim for all of us. This is Judge Joe Brown.
All right. Well, I mean, the judge said it. You know what I mean? Hey, I I personally agree with a lot with what he said. I mean, speaking, what I mean, how do you feel about that? Is manhood under attack?
Yeah, manhood been under attack for a long time. That's how you come up with crazy terms like toxic masculinity. Like, what's toxic about masculinity? You that those two are oxymorons. You can't have that. You got a masculine man. He's the guy that's going to come out the house first when something's going down. So you need that. You never send the women out first. You damn sure don't send your babies out first. The man is the first one out the house to see what's popping. So I don't understand like where they get things like toxic masculinity from, but that's definitely an attack on men. Well, you want us to be sweeter?
Most definitely. Well, not. I don't mean most definitely like I agree with the being sweet thing, but yeah, most definitely. I feel the same sentiments. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation, and I was talking to a young woman and I was talking about ego, and the first thing she yelled out her mouth was toxic masculinity. And I said to her, I'm like, what's that? She's like, well, you men over exaggerating everything, your manliness and so on and so forth. And I kind of shut the conversation down because I knew where this was going. I basically explained to her, I said, look, as a black woman, I don't think the feminist movement is for you. I don't think their struggle is your struggle. We've never been opposed to the sisters, and the sisters have never been opposed by us. We've been in the struggle hand in hand, holding it down. So I said, you need to let go of their talking points. If they got problem with their men and other communities, that's the problems that they have. I said, you don't have that problem with us. Sometimes we there's a few missteps along the way, some bumps and things. We're under a lot of pressure here. So I said, what we need to do is, we need to focus on unity amongst ourselves. And me and you, we don't need another label or title that's going to divide us. We definitely need to hold it together. That's why I don't focus on people's private personality. I don't care who you in the bed with or what your preferences are. Basically, like I said, can we get the work done within our community? But I said, toxic masculinity is great. Like, speak what you said. When somebody's doing a forced entry into our home, you're going to need, you want that masculinity to get up and take care of that problem. So I told her, look, it's not, we're not at war with each other. It's basically what I said on that. I mean, Derek, what's your thought?
Well, first off, I'll say there's an influencer that I don't think a lot of people give credit to why we're in the situation we're in with regards to toxic masculinity. And her name is Gloria Steinem. She is the publisher, I believe, of Us Magazine or whatever. But what it is that Gloria Steinem's main objective was to get white women to take the reins of power from white men. Black women who are not involved with Gloria Steinem jumped on that toxic masculinity bandwagon much later. And now we have the problems we have. But I would also add further, us, black men, I came up during the 1980s. And I can tell you for a fact, there was a lot of guys who was in the Navy with me. They was getting a lot of girls pregnant and leaving these kids to die. So can you imagine if you were born in 1989 and you don't know who your daddy was? We left out at least, by my count, a generation and a half, perhaps two, where you ain't had no men in the house. And so all these boys, all they got is the examples of their mom. And we wonder why the young men don't have conflict resolution. And so when you have guys like Joe Brown that come on the scene and talk the way they talk, that looks like a unicorn. He's talking rap, he's talking crazy. All right. So I'm of the man's world. I'm of the James Brown school. All right. My thing has always been, yes, men are supposed to lead, direct, and guide his home. He's supposed to raise his kids. He's supposed to get out here. If he ain't going to work for the white man, he need to go out here and make a job for himself, preferably make a job for himself. But you need to be doing something constructed after you look at it. And so when the women see these man children that come up on them, they haven't been schooled on how to be no men. And women are looking for men. They have all these social experiments every year. They pull up a picture of a soy boy and a picture of a fit guy. 10 out of 10 women take the fit guy because they're looking for masculinity. They're not looking to have no people. They instinctively look for a man to take the reins. Now that doesn't mean you have to be dictatorial. That just means you're a man. That's all.
Wow. All right. Well said with that. Definitely I don't see a problem with any of your statements. So I mean, like I said, definitely my feel and my take on things is that the Black family itself, a lot of the problems that we're having can be resolved by simply repairing the Black family. We have a tendency sometimes to look outside of our community for assistance and help, and there's some things that are definitely owed. I mean, no doubt about that. We could do a whole 3 hours on reparations by itself. But meanwhile, while we're waiting for that check, we need to just deal with the reality that we have, and that is repairing and strengthening the Black family. That's why I don't feel, like we need to do anything to create any more separation or division. And as I stated before in the beginning, what prompted this conversation is how we are dealing with today's youth. In this particular sector that we're a part of, there's a lot of controversy. The youth are expressing themselves in a certain way. I saw one of the people here given a question. They said, well, one of your younger people in the sector, they're doing some things that we don't agree with. They're attacking people. Why don't you go over there and make that correction? And the individual responded and said, well, I did make the correction, but however, I can't tell this individual what to do with their platform, which again, I agree with. We do have the freedom of speech. Young people express themselves in a certain way. They fight in a certain way. Now, the difference is between our generation and where they are is that we didn't have social media. So we interacted on a personal level. So, and back in the day, if me and Derek had a problem, it was some fists if we couldn't reason it out, and we just wrestled in the street. And then the next day we was friends again. The problem with social media is, so for instance, if me and Derek was going to fight, we were young, we might have had 10 or 12 people cheering it on. But now on social media, you got 15,000 people watching you and cheering it on. So it multiplies the activity. So a person will, be more apt to get on a live, get on the camera and show out, like I said. So it was given to us to say, well, what are you guys going to do about that? I said, well, I don't know. I feel like we should control what's in our household. I control what's in mine. I don't have any too many younger children left. So I don't have a problem where they're on the internet bullying people. I'm kind of monitoring things. So I can't tell a 20-year-old or a 25 or 30-year-old what to do. I think in this case, we can, just be the example, or set the example. So that's why I decided, let's go on, let's have a conversation. Let's let them see, how the grown folks talk, and maybe, they can draw from that. I mean, speak, what do you think about that? I mean, because me and you, we on the panels. I mean, we laugh and we yuck it up in the in the chat section. I was told, they said, Bombay, you be over there in the effery too. I'm like, yeah, I'll be over there. I laugh. I come in, I laugh at the impersonations and things. It's funny. But I myself, I said, well, I can't control what that person do. I'm not necessarily co-signing. I come in, I laugh, I keep it moving. They making their choice. On my channel, it's a different deal with what I'm doing over here. So, and speak, we be there clowning because, we make light of it. And then sometimes we get asked to render assistance. I know the other day somebody said, Bombay, come on, help, man. Calm this guy down, chill him out. I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do? So, I mean, speak, what you think about that? You think the youth out of control with their online shenanigans, or it's just harmless, pretty much harmless? I mean, what you think?
I mean, in this particular space, it's nothing new. Like when you looking at online sectors, full of Black people on, on YouTube, there's nothing unusual going on in this sector that don't happen everywhere online in every Black sector. So people, they see things, and if they haven't been a part of, how online communities work, they look at it and say, oh, wow, this is crazy. No, it's not. This is par for the course. You just ain't been around to see it. So, in terms of how the young people get down and how we get down, the example is there. We all have channels. So, if you see how I move and you don't see me going the extra mile to do shit, then there's your example. But what the young people got to realize, like guys like me and you, Doc, we've been in the industry, like we've been in hip hop. So it's not a problem with us performing in front of people. We could separate the real from fake. I played basketball, never had a problem with performing in front of people. But when you have young people who don't have that experience of learning how to deal with that, and you put them in front of imaginary people online, oh, I got 15,000 people in here. Let me show my ass. No, they in here to see you. You good. They don't understand they don't have to go up an extra octave just to put that show on, because the more you do that, so the only people you want around you, young people, is people who rock with you because of who you are. Crowd, and now you're going to have to continue to elevate in your nonsense to keep the crowd. And that's a balance that young people.
Speak, we lost your mic on that one.
Oh, everybody dipped off.
No, we still here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, we still here. It just your mic just cut out at the end, and then it bumps you down to, as we see, with three-way doing a three-way split on the screen. Like I said, I mean, it seems to be we're in harmony with this. Like I said, the whole premise of this presentation, as limited as it is to, like I said, to let you know how we think. We're in your platforms. Sometimes we clown with you. Sometimes we're silent. We're just observing. So we just letting how we feel about things. Speaking of that, earlier I was talking about us and the sisters and getting along. Some of the topics, or one of the topics in the sector was, should the black woman be protected? And that was the thing. There was a debate about that. We had a live debate. There's been a lot of discussions and a lot of differences in opinions about that. Everybody knows my position, but I'll reiterate it here. You know what I'm saying? From my perspective, there is not one that should be sacrificed or lost. All the sisters are worthy of protection, from me. That's how I feel about it. When I look at it, sometimes, yes, you do see sometimes a woman in public, she could be a little bit obstinate, a little bit out of control. My thing is I try to apply a little bit more wisdom to that and look like what got that woman to this point. Again, I don't know. Did she have a dad in her life? Did she have a mom in her life? Was it a stable home? What are these factors that got her to this point? So in my particular position, I try not to judge, but I feel like we just need to look out for the sisters, and that's my thing. I understand sometimes we had bad relationships in the past. Some things might turn you off, but like I say, the brothers on this panel, pretty much, we have stable households with things. So that's why I felt like the discussion would be better suited here. I mean, Derek, what do you think as far as black women? Are there, are we the chiefs in the tribe? We need to look out, or is it some just so ratchet you just got to throw them away? I mean,
well,
you being a ladies' man and all.
well, to throw a person away, that's something we shouldn't do unless they want to throw themselves away. And I would back that up by saying that you didn't want to judge anybody. I would push back slightly by saying everybody judges everything, and that's just a human condition that you judge because you are. Let me see. I guess the best way you're trying to make decisions as you go along based on what stimuli you can see. For instance, if you see an ugly pair of shoes, they may look great to me, but they may look ugly to you. So a lot of people say they don't want to judge. I kind of push back, with all due respect on that. But I think, yes, black women, all women should be protected. But the sad fact of the matter is, Monique was just land-based for simply saying the truth. A lot of people are saying, well, she going too far by saying that black women should have been at the airport with house shoes on and bonnets. Well, because of our particular circumstances in America, Black people are going to be judged different and looked down on for how we come out the house and things like that. Is it your right to do it? Of course it is. I tell my daughter all the time, I say, Damaris, you go out there, because she'll be 17. She wants to wear lipstick and all this other stuff. Go on out there and wear too much makeup. They're going to call you a clown. I can't protect you on what people say about you once you leave the street. But there is another thing to be said where you have someone that is abusing a woman. I'm going to actually put that video up tomorrow of the story I saw over in Jamaica. And the abuse is so bad with some of these women, they actually run back to people who beat on them. Very harrowing story. But yes, Black women should be protected. But it's something else to be said about women who, you just said the word rat. Some are beyond repair. And my mom always told us, say, look there, and boy, when you see an errant child, look no further than the parent. And once people get of a certain age, pretty much ain't nothing you can do. So while I wouldn't say you throw them away, until someone wants to be helped, there's nothing you can do despite your best intention.
Wow. I hear that. And I guess I should have been a bit more specific with that, because just to say protected, like what you just said, as far as somebody could be far beyond. In other words, I think protecting and saving is two different things. I think I need to make that distinction, because saving would be taking one and rehabilitating. So sometimes you're right. Sometimes, and again, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't necessarily save anybody per se. But, on that, I feel like as far as protecting, though, that instinct is always going to kick in with me. As far as, if I'm walking down the street and there's a woman being abused, my instinct is, because of my family and my upbringing, is to render assistance in that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hawk that mic. I didn't get Brother Speakeasy on that to see his take.
On the protection?
Yeah, on the protection.
Yeah, I think, you know what? It got a lot to do with perception, because a lot of people, and I'm going to just say some women, because I know it's a ton of women out there that's like, nah, I dig you. But when you render assistance and protection, some people don't perceive it as protection. So, like, if I just come out of nowhere, dive and tackle you, you'll be like, what the fuck did you hit me for? Because you ain't see that car that was about to hit you. So she perceived me tackling her as an attack. No, I was protecting you from that car that was about to hit you. And you take it even, to something, less extreme, and you say ladies first. When I open that door up for you, I see who's in front of you. Now, damn sure ain't gonna let nobody come behind you. That's a form of protection. So when you get people that start saying, well, I don't need nobody to do nothing for me, it's like, hey, then, and that's a small amount of women that actually say that. But when you say that, that means you don't want our protection. And that's our men's natural instinct, is to protect. We are protectors, not just protectors of our own, but protectors of everybody. So it's in our nature to protect our ladies, but you have to perceive when you are being protected. And that can be, a little harsh sometimes with some people, because some people, you might be like, yo, you need to shut up right now, because you're making an ass out of yourself. That's why I told you need to shut up. But some people might say, yo, well, why you telling that? That was disrespectful. No, I was protecting her, because Shorty was getting wild when I seen where it was going to go. So I think they all should be protected. But like I said, your perception of what protection is key to the protection itself. You dig?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's funny, like all of our angles, there's similarities, but everybody adds something else to it, things that I didn't even consider. I'm a bit of a self-proclaimed know-it-all, but obviously, there's a lot more things to consider. And speaking of that, I mean, we had this past Mother's Day. I'm not going to lie, I cringe every time Mother's Day come around. I don't personally celebrate it. With my mom, it's she calls once a week, so it's Mother's Week in my house. Because I got to do what she need. But lo and behold, every Mother's Day, we get those people that say, they put these little memes online about because you're the mom and you're the dad type stuff. And
Yeah.
I cringe, because I'm like, you're a mom, you can't be a dad. Now, Derek, you know, not that you heard Derek made a reference to his 17-year-old daughter. He's a single parent as a dad. Now, I'm really interested in hearing his take, because I know when Father's Day come, I don't think Derek going to post up on YouTube talking about Happy Father's and Mother's Day to me. You know what I'm saying? Because like he's doing a dual role. But I personally don't agree with that. I don't think a mom can be a mom and a dad. I think that's part of the problem. I think we need to be the dad. We need to, if possible, be in the household, taking care of business and heading up that role. That's what I think on that. You know, that whole, you know, you can try. I lost my dad when I was young, so I didn't have a choice. Mom had to take it the rest of the way for the next 6-7 years. She did a good job of that. You know what I'm saying? But I felt certain elements that was missing. You know what I mean? Especially when I got to that phase, you know, you start dating and you kind of need pops to let you know how to put that filter on what to bring home and what not to bring home. You know, they usually would hit you with she ain't nothing like your mother, son. You need to throw that one back. But me, I ain't know any better. So I stumbled a bit there. You know, it took me 10 years to get it off the ground. So I wonder, I mean, can a woman fulfill a role, or vice versa? Can a dad fill the role of a mom? Anybody on that one?
I don't think. I mean, no, because the balance comes from mom and dad. You get 50% of the DNA from your mom, 50% from your dad, and you got to cater to that percentage of DNA that you provide. I can't be a mom to my son because I'm a dad. I can't be a mom to my daughter because I'm a dad. That's all I know how to be. So how can I teach something that I'm not? Like, that's like me. I'm a math teacher, but I'm teaching English. Math is my thing, not English. So you got to stick to where you are and appreciate that. And hopefully you can find what you're missing from somewhere else. But a woman can't be a man and a man can't be a woman. It's just impossible.
I agree with that. Derek, you the single dad on deck.
Well, I was about to say this will. I'm going to take it just. Excuse me. This will be the Shirley segment of the thing that I'm talking about, because Shirley is the marriage mother, and she always says I leave her out of these videos when my daughter does it. We actually platoon with good working parents and all of that. So Shirley, this is for you if you see this in the future. What it is that we platoon because the marriage is a big girl now. But I would say to Mr. Speakeasy point, no, how the hell I'm gonna be I'm a man? How can I be a female? Now I am in the medical field and I understand the menstrual cycle, and I know the reproductive organs by name and all of it. I happen to know A and B, but I've never walked a day having menstrual cramp, so I wouldn't know. I don't know how to do hair, but I pay somebody else, and so does a mother, to get her hair done. I don't do a damn thing about it. All right, so I wouldn't know. I'm totally ignorant. I'm out the loop. I'm a man. That's just who I am. You know. And so the thing is, I think it's very important as fathers that if we have, especially with girls, because that's just what I just had just been married. I think fathers should not shirk their duties. I heard Judge Mathis say just the other day that throughout his daughter's formative years, all he knew was saying, "Come here, baby, you scrape your knee, you all right?" and stuff like that. He never actually talked with them about how they feel. And that don't mean you're a punk or a hoe or soft or none of this old ignorant ass shit. Because you know, you just alpha man, you don't talk to your female children. No, you need to engage with them. Because I say for myself, you just said earlier, Dr. Bombay, about the Father's Day thing here in Philadelphia. You have young men in their late 20s and early 30s say, "Yeah, I get my mama Father's Day call." Idiot, lunacy. She is a woman. And on the flip side, she heard me say in various videos that you would never see me put on a t-shirt "World's Greatest Dad." All you need to know about Derek C. Williams for real, is look at my daughter. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Can't hear you, Doc. Can't hear you. And I think P backstage also. I'm still not getting you, Doc.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm over here trying to be all fancy and everything, working two camera angles, and I forgot when you work two angles, the second entry doesn't have the mic because otherwise it would echo. So we got brother P on the panel. He made it. You know, he came through rush hour traffic in downtown Cleveland, you know, to be here. So P, have you been listening in so far, or you just getting
Nah,
with
you
us?
know what? I'm gonna give y'all all my apologies, man. You know I'm gonna go on a rant at some point. I'm just getting in, man. Let me tell you what happened. All right, coming in for my girl's son's graduation. Okay, you know, like when I graduated high school, like my shit, like I knew I was graduating fucking shit. Fourth quarter, I knew I was graduating high school. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as of Tuesday, this nigga didn't know if he was graduating. You know what I mean? That's another story for another day, man. What I did, but my apologies. That's why I was not on here on time, man, because I had to go to this graduation that I just found out about.
It's
But
it's at least a
yeah, I mean,
good reason.
yeah, it's a good reason. But I'm just like, you know, and like I'm telling dude, I'm like, look, this whole pandemic has been fucked up for a lot of fucking reasons, you know, and like our children suffer, and they still are education, you know, and like I'm telling dude, like you know, like you got a fucking gift, bruh. You know what I mean? Like the difference between having a high school diploma and a GED, you better take this gift you got and do something with it, bruh. Because in normal circumstances, you wouldn't be graduating. Like I said, that's another
Wow.
story for the day. You know, but what I did catch when I was coming in, you talking about single parents?
Yeah. Yeah. Single
Okay.
parents playing a role. Can a mom play a dad's role? Can a dad play the mom's role? You know, if you're a single parent in our community.
Well, you know, as a single parent, like I got custody of my son when he was 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, it's like um, you know, I remember one of the things that like really like would make me like cringe is the fact that I would get a lot of, you know, as my son was growing up and everything, I would get a lot of compliments from people, like whether it be teachers or whoever, just like, oh, you know what I mean, you're doing such a good job, you're such a good father, and do. And, you know, I would always take those compliments humbly because to me, I just cringe whenever I heard those like compliments because it just shows me how far we've devolved. That a man simply doing what the fuck he's supposed to do it and being a father stands out so much that you get kudos and wars and that a boy for doing what the fuck you supposed to do.
That's heavy.
He's right.
You, you know, I always like accepted those comments like I would you know, thank you humbly, but I'm thinking like, damn, that's a goddamn shame that me doing what the fuck I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not special, but we're doing, you know what I'm saying? We're so lax in that area that a man just doing what he's supposed to do gets pat on the back and kudos and all that type shit. And to me, that's the bigger problem that we've lowered the bar so low that a man being a man, you know, you get special fucking kudos and rewards for. You know, and it's like it's just I really don't. It's one of the things I really can't, you know, speak upon. Like, but I'm just telling you how I felt and my personal experience with that, and just to say that it's sad that we doing so little that nigga just doing what nigga just doing what he's supposed to do is looked at as special. And I never looked at myself as special. I'm looked at myself as doing what I'm supposed to do and
Ex-
constantly trying to improve and do better. You feel me?
Exactly. I personally have spoke on that a few times on here. I said, I don't understand. How is it that I got two nephews? One of them graduated high school. It's just like, okay, well, go get a job and pay me some rent. And I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. The other one, he comes home from jail and there's a massive barbecue with 2 bushels of crabs and a keg of beer. I'm not, we see that now. Like, I know so far we've been talking about men and women, but that's the crazy part where I always defer back to us men as, come on now, who's running that? Who's actually orchestrating? Because I'm gonna tell you flat out, I'm not coming to no jail barbecue, no jailbreak barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Now, graduation party, I'm down for that. Like I said, that I'm down for. And like what P said, you don't get kudos for doing what you're supposed to do. We have certain content creators and certain fans that feel differently. They think when a man is taking care of his kids, he's supposed to get some type of accolades for that. No, you're supposed to. You laid up, you had them. You're supposed to take care of them. The ones that are in your home and the ones that are outside your home. You don't get a trophy for that. Basically, we raise these kids. We do the best we can, and it don't stop there. You got to keep raising them and keep going. You know what I'm saying? So you get no props for that. It's a hard job, but like I said, there's no trophy. I agree with P 100% on that. And anybody can chime in. We ain't got to be round robin it. I was all for him, like face the nation in 60 minutes, passing the mic. And, cut me off if you feel, if something's on your mind, because I don't want to over talk and like let nobody not get a thought out. Derek?
I was just going to chime in. I agree with the gentleman. Now, I used to get, when the mask was first born, I would take her in the stroller. Everywhere I went, I would get free appetizers at Applebee's. Free appetizers at chili. Everywhere I took that girl in that stroller, I got food stuff. I got little goodies. You being a good daddy. This was mostly about black women that worked at these establishments. And I would always say to myself, so I laid down and had her. I'm supposed to have her with me. That's what daddy do. But I take these free appetizers though. All right, and I just don't get that. But I was just also gonna say, with regards to having barbecues for people who come home or people who are about to go away and all this other stuff. To me, that's just a testament of the dysfunction within Black America. I don't know if white folks do it. I know we do it, so I can just speak for what I've seen in Black America. That's just a testament. We just love that stuff. And if a guy graduated sooner through life, he gets nothing. That's all.
Yeah, I think it also could be ignorance on the person that's giving you the compliment. And when I say ignorant, that don't mean that it's a negative thing. It just means that they're not aware of it. Because I hear that when my son have a good game, he got to get interviewed after the game by the magazine or the website or whatever that sponsored the tournament. And they have to get my consent so they can interview him. But they don't ask me nothing. I just stand there. And I don't have to tell him to say nothing. He responds to the questions the way he was raised to respond. And from a lot of coaches and stuff, they say, man, he's a good kid. He talks well and all that. But me and the parents, none of us give each other compliments on that. It's a bunch of men, women, black men and women, all of us together. We sitting down watching our kids get down and do their thing. And none of us are patting each other on the back. So that ignorance could come from your circle, which you're accustomed to, and who you around. Because none of us pat each other on the back about how good our kids are doing, because we all in the same place and we know what we had to do to get them there. So there's no need for us to pat each other on the back and say he talks great. He's fucking supposed to. You see his grades that you got to have to get this tournament. So what you think he's supposed to talk like? You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt and say, all right, thanks, but don't treat me like my son's special because he's talking with respect. That's what he's supposed to do.
Well, in our generation, that's a difference between the generations. In our generations, that was kind of expected. We was trained that way. And definitely, and even in that matter of fact, now that I throw it back, in our generation, I didn't see any jail parties. We didn't have those. My brother went away to college for a few months. He just went away. When he came home, it was like, hey, your room is still here. That was it. Wasn't no special dinner.
Right.
Yeah, part of that I think comes down to go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
I heard, you know how they say like out of the mouth of babes. I was on y'all may have seen this shit. This probably about a year and a half ago, and I it popped up on my timeline, and I shared it. This young brother, and I couldn't have said it no fucking better. He was like, "Why is it that if if a person like challenge you about college, right? You will say like, well, college ain't for me or college ain't for everybody, woo woo, right? Or no, this is what he said. He was like, if a person say like, oh nigga, you ain't about that college life. A nigga will say like, well, yeah, college ain't for everybody, and and it's like, but if a motherfucker say you ain't about that street life, a nigga would do everything in their power to prove you wrong.
Mm.
That they about that street life. But if the same person say, nigga, you ain't about that college life, you would say, well, college ain't meant for everybody. And this ain't, like I say, like, man, not like you got to always be listening because you never know where nuggets are gonna come from. This was a young boy. You know what I mean? And I couldn't have even thought that, let alone said it. So I'm gonna, I can't take credit for that, but I couldn't have summed that up shit no better than that young man did right there. And that's part of the problem. Like if you've heard me say, well, we don't drop the ball, man, as a community, we don't stress education no more. As a whole. We have individuals, but as a whole, man, we don't stress education no more. We don't. We don't. Because like if I could, if it could be, if we could make things right now, where we had a perfect world, because the big complaint is about education. If we could collectively, as a black people, right now, just snap our fingers and we have a black curriculum, all of our all of our children, just getting the education that we would want, we still have a problem. The kids is out of fucking control. You can have a learning environment, but if you have a class of 40 students and 35 of them motherfuckers is acting a fool, that those 5 students can't learn and the teacher can't teach because they're spending time disciplining. So, I'm about accountability, man. And until we look in the fucking mirror, have tough, difficult conversations with ourselves, quit sweeping shit under the fucking rug like it ain't going on. That's one thing about us. We keep a lot of secrets, don't we?
So
Is it
Every family,
secret,
every
P?
black family, we got fucking secrets, bro. That's how we get down. You know what I mean? But the point
Is
about
it
it
a
is,
secret,
bro.
though, P?
Say what?
I'm saying, like, is it a secret
What?
that you're saying? Like, are we keeping secrets from each other, keeping secrets from the youth? Like, what did you mean when you said that?
Meaning that like it's our nature to keep shit in house. You see what I'm saying? Like meaning that we don't like to look at shit. Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to us, and we got to start looking at us. Give you an example when I'm talking about. This is flat out. This is just what the fuck I'm talking about. Flat out. All right. Man, we hear about the white man and the police and all this type shit. And I'm just keeping shit straight 100 because that's all I can do. When I leave the crib every day, I got my burner with me. I ain't thinking about the police or the white man. And that's sad that I got to carry my burner because I got to worry about one of these young niggas out here, one of my own, that's not on no kumbaya shit. And that's what we like. We acting like this shit ain't real. Like it's motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about me, you, any of us. They don't give a fuck. And that's the reality I got to deal with. You know what I mean? And I can't ignore my clear and present danger. I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you may see me on the news, like, hear me if you say this now. If the boys ever gun me down, go after them motherfuckers. Cause I didn't do shit the fuck wrong.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But we gotta get fuck.
Well, if I
We got, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
You know, and I'm gonna speak straight from the fucking heart, right? I know. Let's just say in the past, I'm picking the year 2015, right? In the past 6 years, in my home city, Cincinnati, I know 10 motherfuckers that's been close to me that's been gunned down. Last one was one of my female cousins, 35 years old, nigga lit her up with a fucking 45, right? I know 10 motherfuckers have been killed in the past 6 years. And if I mention, and the only name I would, like, if I mention all the names, y'all would know one fucking name. Because he made national news because he got gunned down by the fucking police. You know what I'm saying? But these other 10 motherfuckers I know that got gunned down by niggas, not only don't y'all know these motherfuckers, but the niggas that gunned them down is still on the fucking street. Now I agree. Whenever the police do some shit, shut the shit down, like we do. But like when my cousin got motherfucking a woman, a black woman, nigga lit her up with a 45, and ain't nobody shut down shit. She got what we do. She got the flowers on the fucking corner, but on the fucking telephone pole, and the teddy bears and shit. I hear people say a lot, equal energy. Well, if you're gonna give this, make sure you give equal energy to that. If you want the police to stop gunning us down, we got to make our life worth something. We ain't gonna look. Whatever group you identify with at a certain point, you are never gonna have another group care more about your group than your group. So us looking for the sympathy from the white man, that ain't the fucking answer. Police do what the fuck they do. What we need to start doing is stop creating fucking targets for these motherfuckers. That's what we fucking need to do. Get our boys and our girls off the street, back in the fucking classroom. Yeah, I mean, so we want to go to the white man and everybody else for everything. Man, I gotta get a fucking neurological, a fucking a nerve test. That I gotta wait fucking 4 months to get done because there's not enough doctors. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be part of the institutions, but we complain about the institutions. Man, we need more doctors, fucking lawyers, fucking police. Yes, we do. You know what I'm saying? We need to set the bar high. You know what I mean? See, I'm talking because I'm part of the I'm the child. I'm part of the children of the civil rights generation. You see what I'm saying? You know, we all man, we all some old bros up in here, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like I can't not talk no more, bro. Like I've been holding this shit in too fucking long. We all have, man. I'm not
Uh,
saying nothing that we all see this shit, bro. We got to start speaking on
exactly. Hey,
it.
Pete.
Yo,
Not to cut you off, because we want to get into those solutions that you're like 10 minutes ahead. That's good because I'm gonna definitely get back to you with that. Derek, you were saying you were trying to interject. Derek,
Well,
hey Damaris,
yeah, I'm just see all of that for me.
hey, how you doing? Are
So
you
you got
you
the list one.
are you tuned in? Okay, your voice is light. You was chopping in and out, but I can read lips. You said this is a wonderful panel. You're thoroughly enjoying it, and we're all some very wise men, if I heard you correctly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I
I
heard. I
just
don't
was
know about
gonna
the rest
say,
of y'all, but that's what I got from what she was saying.
yeah, she would, yeah, she wouldn't come and say hello because she was just asking about you, as a matter of fact, real
Oh
rap.
wow.
But yeah, I just was gonna say really quickly. First off, just in the interest of time, I'm gonna have to cut out in about 10 minutes. But I just want to say I agree with everything that the man said from Cincinnati. I didn't, Mr. Pete. I'm looking at it here. Someone asked how much of this perception is media driven. I think personally, art is imitating life. Life imitating
yep.
art in many ways. You see the movies. People take to the streets. We have lack of jobs and economic opportunities, broken homes, things like that. That's a witch's brew for disaster right there, in my opinion. So, of course, Jesse Jackson said himself back in the 80s, if he's walking up the street at night, he's not worried about the white man. He's worried about somebody that looked like him. It shouldn't have to be like that, but that's what we have in our country, Sam. That's all I want to say.
Oh, all right. Speak.
Nah, I mean I agree, but I mean it's tough out here. 'Cause, man, I grew up in the project, so I know the reality of what everything is. But the reality also is it's never going to be utopia out here. So you just got to
Exactly.
move how you move and do the best that you can. That's all you could do because
Mhm.
you have no you ain't got no choice in when your time's up and how your
Mhm.
time's up. You could just walk down the street and fall out. You can get hit by a car. You get hit by that bullet. You never know when your time is up. But until that time, you should be doing something productive and enjoy the time
Mhm.
you got. But if you dwell on
Exactly.
all the negativities, you ain't going to enjoy the life you got. And that's what I do. I'm out with my boys and my daughters, and we having the time of our life. And if I can
Mhm.
impart anything into them, and maybe what I put into them, they can reach 50 people. Maybe the one out of the 50 they can reach 2,000. So you just put in to whoever you can put it into and just roll with that. But if you dwell on negativity and stuff like that, and it's tough because of some of our environments and where we grow, and you never start to enjoy the life that you have, then you ain't gonna never get out the rut. It's impossible. So you gotta
Hey,
do the best you
no,
can.
no,
You
go ahead. Go ahead,
see,
speak. Yeah.
you got it, PD. You go, bro.
Well, you know what? I want to say something about that, bro, because one thing I've noticed, and speak, you know me, bro. Yeah, I mean, like, bro, like I always tell y'all motherfuckers, man, I'm a flawed man. I'm not perfect.
Welcome
But
to the club.
you know what? I find that I always use my mistakes, whatever, as cautionary tales, teaching, because that's how you learn. You know what I mean? Like I don't relate successes. And it's piggybacking off of what you said, man, it's It's very true. Um, I forgot my thought, man. Damn, got my thought. That shit
Mm.
happens too.
So it sounds like we're here. We're on the edge of what are these solutions? You know, and we P was moving towards something like that earlier. Speak just said what he said, which is like moving towards a solution. I think my personal take is one, being an example and dealing with things in our own households. You heard my philosophy before. If you got a strong black man, every strong, able-bodied black man, if he was to position himself at the head of a household, 85% of our problems would cease to exist, because that would cure the inner community problem. We don't have, because remember back when we was coming up in our neighborhoods, we didn't have we I'm not gonna lie, there was crime, there was some thuggery going on. We didn't call it thugs then, because that word we didn't use, but there was some things. But the village was still intact at that point, from the 70s, somewhat a little bit into the 80s. We had that village. You had the three butt whipping rule. I'm throwing rocks at the MTA bus. Miss Jenkins see me, I'm getting smacked up on the spot. She gonna pull her car over. Then I get tooken home. Tooken, that's my personal word. I get tooken home, and then mom's smacked up. And then I have the holy terror waiting for dad to get home to lay the strap down. So I already knew it was gonna be, the triple threat. So
Right.
that kept me in line, and we looked out for each other. Our generation, I hate to say this, our generation dropped the ball. Generation X came along, and we was on some old, don't you say nothing to my kids. You go up to school cussing the teacher out, and all that nonsense. I don't know about y'all, but when that teacher called home, it was zero defense. I mean, Johnny Cochran couldn't have got me out of that, because whatever the teacher said I did is what I did. She like,
Yep.
the teacher,
Yep.
all the teachers lying on you. Remember that? We used to say, she don't like me. And it was true.
Yeah.
Some teachers did not like you, but they had a good reason, because we was in clown in class, or cutting up or giving her a hard time. But we all said that. And moms will always say, "No, that teacher ain't lying." So that was it. That was instant. And then we come home with those dreaded report cards trying to, I used to change you make the D into a B, all that stuff. Now, but yeah, so with the kids, they got technology now. Our kids, we got technology. We got computers calling, text messages. We got emails.
Yeah.
Y'all can't hook school no more. We know about it. And we got GPSs in your phone. See, in our day, we could cut out. I'm not suggesting you do that, but I'm just saying we kind of dropped the ball on that, because we kind of gave our kids a little bit more freedom with things. Not all of us, but as you see, the brothers here on the
Right.
panel, we're all family men. So we're in the position, we're taking care of business. And we don't talk about it on these panels, because it's not something that we brag about, because it's nothing to brag about.
Right.
So me personally, I feel that's the solution. I think we need to get brothers get back in the home. If you got multiple baby mamas, I don't know what to tell you, because that's a lot of money. You just stop. Look, just stop where you at. If you got three, just stop right there. Get yourself somewhere stable, and take those kids under your wing and do the best you can, so we can get this thing back on track. That's my take on that. And yes, to the brother, I think Rodney posted that the media is not helping.
No,
Everything
they're
on
not.
TV has us in a negative light. They took our beautiful art form, music, hip hop, and
Yep.
took it out of the hood, like everything else. They took blues, they took jazz, now they here for bebop, then they took soul, they took hip hop out and raped it, literally. I mean, I'm sorry, they
Well,
distorted it.
it's deeper than that. They actually, at some point in the late 80s, they discovered, like, yo, we can actually use this. Okay, like Western society, since the inception of radio and TV, entertainment, like movies and music, have all they since the inception has always been used as a tool to control the masses. Okay, so, and you can look this, and that's the beauty about nowadays. If a person says something, look it up, Google that shit. Don't just think a person's crazy because you don't know what they're talking about. With that, let me continue. If you, I'm sure we all intelligent gentlemen on here, we've all heard of Project MK Ultra.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we know that was basically the U.S. government's mind control program. Okay. Now, about the late 80s, they said, like, yo, we can use this urban music to our advantage. Okay. If you Google Operation Sedgwick, it will tell you that basically that was the government's program where it was an offshoot of Project NK Ultra, where it was a program where they were using urban music basically to influence the masses. So right about the 90s, right about 1990, I see you looking, Dr. Bombay, is when gangster rap
Mm-hmm.
stopped being prosecuted. Luke and them stopped being prosecuted. Because we came from the generation of PE and them cats. Them cats were scholars. You know what I mean? Half them cats linked up when they was in college or somewhere. So you seen the change in rap in 90s. So they hit us from two sides. They hit us from the gangster street aspect and the demoralization of women. If you look up Operation Sedgwick, and I'll just leave it at that, and you'll see that's exactly what it says. And that's the crazy thing about it. They don't hide this shit. You gotta just know about it and know how to look it up and then be able to spread the word.
But if I could just jump in right fast, I will agree with what Mr. P just said because the legend has it that Sumner Redstone, which is the CEO of Viacom, which owns MTV, had this famous back behind the scenes meeting with record execs around 1989, 1990. And they were seeing all the strength that golden era hip hop, BDP, Two Kings and a Cypher, Public Enemy, people like that were having a very good, positive influence on black kids. I always rock my African medallion. I still have one to this day behind my bookshelf. I often say that the reason why I read the way I do to this day is because the stuff that the MCs that I came up on in the late 80s were talking about, it forced you to look into stuff. And one thing, it's a snowball effect. And so to this day, I just turned 54 last week. I cannot stop reading. Information, like Star says, is your most valuable commodity. But they wanted to circumvent that and say, no. They getting too intelligent and they're gonna want to start wanting their rights, this, that, and the third. No, make them be the monkey that we say they are. And so this is when you start seeing the advent of all the gangster rap, bitches with problems, niggas with attitude, all this type thing. You remember Luke won his case for having for having Two Live Crew have their music out. I agree with that in principle, and I'm glad Luke won his case. But it actually opened the Pandora's box in many ways, if you think about it, because if you ride with your car today, if you going up in the streets in Philadelphia, that same freedom of speech, you're having young black men who are with their children, but they playing all kind of film, and the child is 3 years old. So you wonder why. So we on this hamster wheel. So you wonder why we act the way we do in many ways. So yes, Mr. P is dead on the money. It is mind control in slow motion.
But
And
this
you know
is where I
what?
push back at though, P. Hold up, P. This is where I gotta push back. And I just want to be the devil's advocate in this conversation. Because
Okay.
I don't really rock with music being able to control a group of people. Because when you look around, you see a ton of white boys bumping that same music. When you look around, like before, I seen the change. I remember back when white people didn't even listen to rap until Walk This Way came out with Run DMC and Aerosmith, and then they switched over and said, "All right, now we gonna start listening to that." But before then, they didn't even listen to rap at all. That wasn't their twist. That was jungle music. Let them niggas have it. Now, but if you listen to some of those lyrics to some of them white groups, why they music ain't affecting them like that? And they talking wild shit, kill mom, kill dad, goth music, all kind of wild shit. Why it's not affecting them and hip hop affecting us? If that's the issue.
Hey, and you know what? I I hear what you're saying, but let me tell you where I got my information from, right? The former director of that program, Operation Sedgwick, right? Old white dude, deathbed confession. He would, and the reason that this motherfucker made this deathbed confession about the urban music is because his grandkids was listening to that shit now. You feel me?
Right. So how is it white people buy more hip hop than us? We download the shit. They purchase it. They
Right,
push the
right.
singles. So why is it not affecting their community and only affecting ours? From a scientific
Well,
standpoint, we gotta break that down.
Well,
but if you
if I
look
could
at it,
just jump in, to
okay, go ahead.
them, it's what the phrase is called. They call it urban safari. You can see what the blacks are doing without living the black experience. I would say that, but just you're definitely correct. White people purchase more hip hop than, and we try to get this cheap CD if we can. You know, if that makes sense.
Mm.
If anybody can do a screen share real quick, just Google Operation Sedgwick, and it'll tell you like exactly what it was.
Yeah, but see, I wasn't affected by it. So it didn't work on me, didn't work on nobody in my family. Like nobody said, yo, I shot that nigga because I was listening to that music. You know what I mean? So I can't speak to its effect. I hear people saying that they did it, but that shit don't mean it worked. You know what I mean?
I mean, I
You're not
saw
gonna
it.
catch
I mean,
the ass for the carp lore. You see where I'm coming from?
yeah, but I saw it. Like, okay, like when them cats like when them LA cats start coming out like Spice One, like I'm not sure what the brother name is, a lower right hand corner, but I'm 52, he 54. So
Mhm.
you know, I'm talking about like when them cats like Spice One and when they just start talking about gun, like eh, when the shit start turning
Ice
into
T
gunplay,
Yeah.
yeah, when that shit started playing the gunplay, I definitely start seeing it. Like niggas didn't know what a Tech Nine was until they heard it in the song. Then every nigga was walking around with them jamming ass Tech Nines. The
Right,
jam
right.
after you bust two shots, them niggas gonna jam on you. You know what I mean? But I digress. But you know what I'm saying? It's like I definitely saw it in my generation. Like them cats was definitely like emulating what they were seeing in the imagery projected in the fucking videos and the fucking music. Hell, they still doing
And
it.
well, I would just add real quick. I think, and again, we just talking about black folks. White folks got their rock and they grunge and they do their dirt too. But I would just say
Right.
for the purposes of our conversation, the fact of the matter is that our music is vibrant. And I think if you hear that long enough, we're talking about download. If you hear that enough, that becomes you. And if you don't
Yeah.
have a strong person to show you the way and say, look, man, no. We don't run this in this house. Now your friends, they do what they do, and I feel for them, just like how Vera Style told Trey. But in this house, this is how we bang. But we don't have that a lot of times. So again, just for the purposes of this video here, our children get downloaded this stuff every day. The video that you see, they took Uncut away because it was so raunchy towards us, not them. The
Mm.
MTV wouldn't have. And they end up putting that stuff late night, but they know young kids who ain't got no supervision watch that. They looking at soft pornography. And so once again,
Oh,
the media does drive it in a lot of ways. If you don't have someone in the house, a strong head to move, we wonder why we had this thing. One last point. Frank Zappa is a quote I read in a book called The Unseen Hand. And I tend to
oh,
believe it. And the quote was something like, you can have a beat and somebody will tap their fist, or you can turn that beat up and they'll curl their fist and strike. Something to think about.
hey, I remember what I was gonna say earlier, but let me suggest everybody, if you never read that book, Unseen Hand, you gotta read that book. I read that motherfucker in
Skip,
1980. That right,
man,
and I'll tell
greatest
you,
book ever.
yo, I'm gonna tell you the the Unseen Hand and the Stolen Legacy. Those are two books you
Read
need.
that too.
You know,
Yeah.
but okay, I remember what I was gonna say earlier. Going back to music, because the brother in the corner, he's talking about. I feel the same way. How I will pull up to a stop sign sometimes, or a red light, and I hear the shit that's coming out the next car, and I'll glance over, and it'll be like a infant in the car seat, a 3 year old, and you know. And what I was gonna say, and whenever I've said this,
Yeah.
wherever I've said this, it's always been a drop the mic moment. How you know things is fucked up and how shit ain't supposed to be, because this is the first time in history where parents listen to the same music that their children listen to.
Mm. Wow.
Parents have
That's deep.
never listened. Parents have never listened to the
Ouch.
same music that their children listen to. Parents traditionally have
Yeah,
always been like, it's your parents' music, and then the parents like, what is this noise you listening to?
Noise.
It's always been like that. But for the past 20 years or so, parents listen to the same fucking music that their children listen to. And yo, I didn't realize that. Let me tell y'all a little personal story. I used to own a club. So my partner made a poor decision in 2009, and we had a youth party, right? So I'm up there chaperoning because it's my spot. And I'm listening to the fucking music, and like my word is reggae. So I'm listening to shit I don't know the lyrics to. And I'm listening to 200 teens talking about yo sucking and fucking and do and blah blah and da da da. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. But like I said, it goes back to my point. This is the first time in history where parents listen to the same music that their children do.
but
Yeah.
that could be
Go ahead, speak. Go ahead.
no. I'm saying that could be simply mechanical because when our parents listened to Earth, Wind, and Fire and groups like that, today there are no bands. There is no Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right,
So
Mm.
right.
options shrink. You can only listen to what you have because we all love music. And so if I keep playing this one song or this one type of music to you, you're eventually going to like it. So when there was no more diversity in the genre, that's why you got parents and children listening to the same music. Whereas our parents had different genres than what we listen to. Now it's all the same. You could play all of these new songs together and then match up the beats to every song. All of these
Mm.
songs
Yep.
will match up at a certain tempo. Whereas though back when our parents was coming up, you had different people playing different instruments. So it was a soul behind each and every instrument being
Mm.
played, and it made the music stick. That's why you can't
Mm-hmm.
remember the top song from 5 years ago because it's all the same.
Mm.
Yeah.
Earth,
Hey,
Wind, and Fire
hey,
is still fire today.
hey, speak easy.
Uh,
Touche. Touche. And you know what? Man, I hope people listen to this so they can hear, like, man, this is how adults discuss, like in the, like foreigners rosters and everything, we call this reasoning. You know what I'm saying? What we doing now is called reasoning, and that's what it's about. you know it's Everybody's not supposed to agree on everything. You know what I mean? But when you have, like, right now we have four knowledgeable men right now reasoning back and forth, right?
mm-hmm.
you know I said what I said, and I had my opinion and my thoughts on something. Speakeasy just gave me a whole new way to look at this situation. See what I'm saying? So when I present my art, I give my own counterpoint. That's what this shit is about. It's not about, oh, because you don't disagree with me, fuck you, I'm gonna dox you and also no, bro. That's not how.
That's where
That's
the conversation started, actually. We
okay.
and I just want to say real quick here, I agree with the blend of what Derek and Speakeasy said. I agree with the blend of those two, and it's true. I also listened to all of that music coming up. I used to DJ, so I was heavy into any type of music, from the Earth, Wind, and Fire all the way to the NWA. It didn't affect me because, and I think the reason is I wasn't weak minded. You know,
Right.
it couldn't. I was raised a certain way. So no matter what that album said, I might have got gangster, you know, in the basement while I was listening to it. But by the time I walked up them steps, I was respectful in the kitchen because we all know what mom would put down. So with that, I think Derek alluded to that you have some people out here without guidance and they are weak-minded and they are influenced. They didn't get that raising. They didn't get that upbringing that we got. So they become vulnerable. So that takes us back to the solution again. The village. Like I said, if you see the little boy down the street, he looks a little bit wayward, and you just say, look at that thug, and you don't talk to him and you don't say anything to him, that's the same young man 20 years from now that's going to have that gun in your back at the ATM. So that's our problem. We tend to be the selfish generation. We look at, well, me and mine are okay, but I'm not worried about what's going on outside. But we see what happened with all those children that got left to the wayside. We saw what's happening, and now our society is degrading. So no, it's not necessarily the music that's causing it all, but we need to get control of that. We need to get control of ourselves, the family, the neighborhood, the tribe, and put it back together. And we need to get that music back in our hands and get it back under control. You know, so that way we don't have that as an influence. I heard Cardi B and some of the gangster rappers say, "I'm not a role model. You supposed to be a parent." So I feel like you're right, and that's why I'm not buying none of your music. You know, I like you, but you're right. Since that's how you feel, you don't want to give us nothing else on the album. It's all one song, one way. Then you can't put out not one positive song for the girls or one positive song for the boys. But you know, your master is paying you to put out a message, because we know if we put conscious rap, remember when we was dealing with hip hop back in the day, we had hip hop started out as party music, rocking the party. That's where it came from. It was party music. We had dance, which means it would be a hip hop with a dance like Pee Wee Herman or the Feli, something like. Come on, I went back Feli. Come on, y'all Philly people. Y'all invented that one. And then we had like, I call it life rap. That was when we would rap about what's in the streets and the crime and stuff like that. And then we had we would brag rap, where you would just come up with these fantasies about cars and girls and women that you never had, but it was all fun. And like I said, the life rap, the reality rap was the closest thing to gangster, except in the song, we would just tell you about little Johnny with the gun and he stuck up somebody, he was a stick up kid and he went to jail or he died.
Bingo.
We didn't glorify.
Hey.
Then the man came in, he said, oh, I see something here. I can use this. So it became a tool. And that's what we need to fight against. So we need to put the family back. And I'm going to let P take over in a second. And that is why in this particular chat, you might see 8 or 10 people hovering. But like I said, if we suddenly shifted, I start name dropping and doxing and talking that, I got 90 people here. But we're not here for numbers, though. That's the whole point. It's about the message. P, you were saying?
Now, is exactly like what you said. Fuck, hold on 1 second.
I got that disease too. I call it old timers disease. It's like Alzheimer's, but it's old timers. You just like, I forget what I said, or you get up and walk into the room to get something and forgot why you walked in the room.
Forgot why the fuck
or you lose that remote in the bed and it's right next to you with your cell phone. You lose it in the bed. Bed is only a queen size, but somehow that cell phone went to another universe. Yeah, that disease. That one.
Not even worse.
It's all good.
Even worse. You hold that motherfucker.
Wear my glasses on your forehead. Oh man.
Hey, go. I had one of them forget my thought moments, man. Go ahead. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
Okay. Well, if I could just jump in right quick, I'll say what I got to say. I'm gonna top mine up, but I need to step on. I would just say with regards to solution, I think everybody knows the problem. And one of the biggest problems that there is no black self-love. Most recently, you've been hearing people refer to blacks as kings and queens. All of us do not come from royalty, but we need to find something where black people can coalesce around what blackness really means. We got to find love for ourselves the way the Jews love themselves, the way the Asians love themselves, the way the white man loves himself. And until such time as we get that, the economics does not matter. The politics does not matter. None of these other things matter. We have millionaires and billionaires in the black community getting still, and we supposed to be let this the urban league tell us if black people were a country, we would have the 9th largest economy in the world, so they say. Yet and still, we still hurting. So that dog don't hunt. So I don't know that all the answers to the question. Only thing I do know is that the white man is laughing at black people for shooting and killing themselves every weekend. They call this Philadelphia for a reason. They call it Baltimore in Massachusetts, and the section in Baltimore. I'm sorry, in Boston called Mattapan is referred to as murder pain. Why is that? Because blacks are knocking themselves off quicker than the white man ever could. And so we have to get past that first. And if we get past that first, perhaps we can save our children. Because the fact is that the only thing they're doing is emulating the folks that look like me that's older than them. Because they ain't got no other path. A great book that I read out and I step over is called Becoming Dad. And in that book, you had all of these black men that did not know from whence they came. And then they have children, and the children don't know from whence they come. And the cycle repeats. And so we got to try to find a way to break this generational curse of this inborn hatred or whatever it is. I don't have an answer for it, but that's what I see as the solution. Until we get that love, nothing else really matters. So I want to thank you for having me up, Dr. Bombay, Mr. Speakeasy, and Mr. P. It was a pleasure conversing with y'all. All right.
Word
All
up,
right, brother.
brother. Bro.
Thank
Right
you for
on,
coming
bro.
out. All right,
Yeah.
closing segment here.
All right.
Speak Easy Solutions. All right, Derek. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Speak Easy Solution.
Man, I mean, you know it ain't no one size fits all for nothing, but all I can say is make sure your crib is square away first before you go outside and try to do anything, because people gonna always backtrack what you do and what you say. They're gonna do a background check on you and make sure inside your crib ain't dirty before you come outside telling everybody else to clean up. So deal with your shit first, show a working model, then come outside and don't try to hit everybody at one time. Hit who you can, hit who you can reach. That way you don't overextend yourself, and just work slow, because this ain't no overnight thing we working with. We talking about a generation. So you just gotta reach who you can. And if you did your thing, you did your thing. But if you try to go after a million people, you ain't gonna reach nobody. So hit who you can hit and let them take your message and your example out there. But you got to be putting in work somewhere. That's it.
Got it. P solution. Brief solution.
Uh, First, I remember I was gonna say real quick, piggyback off what you were saying about music. Difference between like that music we listen to and now is now they have open-ended stories. Back then, there were moral to the stories in the music. So, like you said, I was a DJ too, so I had to listen to music. So I would listen to a song from start to finish. And at the end of every story, like you said, it was the closest thing to gangster rap, but it was reality. Because at the end of every song, there was a moral to the story. You either went to the joint or your ass got smoked, which was reality. But that's not in music now. You know what I mean? It's just open ended. But basically, Speakeasy already said it. I'm gonna just say it, repeat what he said a different way. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to save the world. We, you know, if you have compassion in your heart, you see what's going on, you want to save the world. But you got to make sure your shit straight first. Your children, your house. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And what you said the other day, Dr. Bombay, is like you have to be the walking example of what you want the world to be.
Yeah.
And like you said, Speakeasy, you can only at the end of the day, we want to save the world, but we can only affect what's around us. Whoever we have contact with, whether it's the young brother in the street or it's our family or whoever we can affect on a boots to the ground level. So if everybody does that, then hey, or just start the revolution by doing that. It's like a pandemic of whatever. But if everybody just makes sure they shit straight,
Got it.
then the
Go
ripple
ahead.
effect. But
Go.
the main thing is men. The main thing is we got to start walking billboards, especially us older men.
Deep.
Carry ourselves when we in public like we grown ass men. Yeah, I mean, stop wearing 50-year-old niggas, stop wearing skinny jeans. Yeah, I mean, like quit trying to chase the youth. You're an older brother. Dress, present yourself as a distinguished older gentleman, and you'll be surprised how much respect you will get from the young boys. Hey, I don't know about y'all, but I'm nothing but old school, OG. Yeah, I mean, and this is like, look, let me walk. I walk in the gas station through. I split the fucking seat with young boys. Don't know me, but I carry myself like an older gentleman. You see what I'm saying? And they respect that. So we need to start being walking billboards when we in public.
Exactly. And like I said, I'm not going to echo because I pretty much agree with everything the brother said on the panel. Everybody kind of said the same thing, but they added their own twist. So I'll take P's and kind of piggyback on that as well. You're right. A lot of the youngsters out here, believe it or not, when P walks, you know, he commands that respect. And believe it or not, they want that father figure. When they see him, they see maybe the father they didn't have, and they want that. So once we get our houses together, if it's not already together, you have to take that energy and take it out into the world, not fear these young men, but approach them, because some of them want that. You know, they didn't have it, and they would probably appreciate it. So we have to become conduits for that level of compassion. Let us be the conduit and channel it out into society like we used to. We radiated these energies. So we got to get back to knowing that. And with that, I want to say this conversation, like I said, to be continued on the next segment, because we're going to go more so into that, into our ways, customs, and cultures. And so, like I said, with every, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So with every ending, I always say, and I leave you with words of peace and tranquility. Namaste.